Hello everyone, this is Alex from TechLiner. 6 years ago, Google released the original Pixel phone, and everyone was impressed by the camera. And the phone that I was carrying around for the last 2 years was the Pixel 4 XL. Despite the dated design, the camera performance was remarkable. Lately, Google released the Pixel 6 Pro with the new camera hardware that sparked my attention, since they didn't upgrade the camera hardware from 5 years. I went out and I did 6 different photo shoots to test all the cameras in different situations. And here is my in-depth review of the Pixel 6 Pro camera. In general, the phone has all the standard aspects, such as 12 gigs of RAM, starting with 128 gigs of storage, IP68 water and dust resistance, 6.7 OLED screen, with only 2 upgrades that make the Pixel 6 stand out up against the other phones. The first one is the customized processor from Google, the Tensor chip, in addition to a huge upgrade on the camera hardware and the design, where they finally add an ultra-wide camera in a unique layout. Without further ado, let's start with the main camera. It has 50 megapixel with an aperture of 1.9, optical image stabilization, laser autofocus, and focal length of 25 mm. Here is some samples taken by the wide-angle camera on the Pixel 6 Pro. The photo style on the Pixel 6 Pro overall didn't change compared to the original Pixel. Google still over-sharpened the photos, avoiding oversaturation, with an amazing dynamic range. This is a video recording on the Pixel 6 Pro, 4K 60 frames per second. This is my favorite area in the city. I really recommend you to come here and do photo shoots if you're a portrait photographer. You will take an amazing shots. Google did really great when it's come to video recording. There was a huge improvement from the Pixel 4 XL. And now let's test the stabilization. Google added a new option related to video recording called Cinematic Pan, which is basically recording a high quality slow motion videos that offers more flexibility after post. Check this out. The low-light performance on the Pixel 6 Pro is outstanding. These photos are taken at 1 AM in an extremely dark environment. It was really challenging to take modeling photos at night without getting blurry or shaky results.
This is a low-light video on the Pixel 6 Pro. It's 11 p.m. right now, and it's really dark in here. And I'm shooting by the lake. You have the ability to zoom in and out during the recording. And here is the CN Tower. What do you guys think? And now I'm using 2x zoom. As you see, there is an obvious drop in quality, but it's still usable.
So far, the main camera on this phone is showing a great results, right? Not until I tested the portrait mode. It was just disappointing. Even the 2 years old Pixel 4 XL can take much better portraits. The edge detection is horrible, and most of the times it overblurs the background, giving unrealistic results. And funny enough, Google decided to use the main camera for portraits instead of the Telephoto 104. And if you don't know what that means, the sweet spot for portraits in the photography world between 85mm and 135mm. So using 25mm for portraits instead of the Telephoto 104mm doesn't make sense at all. When it comes to low-light portraits, surprisingly the Pixel 6 Pro performs much better, considering that most phones doesn't support low-light portraits. Overall, the main camera on the Pixel 6 Pro is outstanding, and it won't let you down, except for portrait mode. Google should really work on edge detection algorithm, considering that Google is a software company. Moving to the ultra-wide angle camera. It's 12 megapixel f2.2 with 114 degrees of view or 70mm focal length. It's not that wide, however Google did a great job matching the colors between the three lenses. Nothing to complain about. And here is some of the results. The low light performance on this camera is impressive. However, Google applied a heavy smoothing on the photos to remove the noise, but I think it's a personal preference. For me, I don't mind having some noise in the photos if I'm gonna have a sharper results. Overall, the ultra-wide camera on this phone is similar to the main one. Great photos with an amazing dynamic range. However, you can't record a video using the ultra-wide camera, which is a bummer, and that will leave you with less flexibility when recording videos on this phone. And now, let's talk about the most underrated camera on every phone, and especially this one, the telephoto camera. It's 48 megapixel with an aperture of 3.5. And what's unique about this camera, that it has a focal length of 104mm or 4x zoom, and this is my favorite focal length for portraits, and I did a video why the Sigma 105mm art is my favorite lens. I will leave a link to the video in the description. Sadly, you can't shoot videos with this camera either, and I wish if Google could do some software update to let us use this camera for portraits. However, this camera is tag sharp and you will get wonderful results out of it. And I think the manufacturers should focus more and more on the telephoto camera and show the importance of using it. The cameras on the Pixel 6 Pro are on another level. It's a versatile system, so you can go from 0.7x zoom all the way to 20x. I don't recommend you to go over 4x, but it's here if you wanna use it. Last but not least is the front-facing camera. It's 11 megapixel with an aperture of 2.2 and 20mm field of view. It gives you the ability to go wider if you wanna take selfie with a friend or if you wanna show more of the scene. And I did find this feature quite useful. Overall, it's a great camera with outstanding dynamic range, and definitely the best selfie camera I ever used.
This is a video recording on the Pixel 6 Pro using the front-facing camera. Google had the ability to zoom in and out during the recording. Now let's test the stabilization.
When it comes to low-light selfies, this camera is just fine. Like any other smartphone, it's not gonna set the world on fire.
This is the low-light video using the front-facing camera on the Pixel 6 Pro. You have the ability to shoot 4K 30 frames per second or Full HD at 60. What do you guys think?
Portraits on the front-facing camera are much better than the main camera, especially when it comes to edge detection. It's not perfect by any means, but you can definitely get wonderful results out of it. Also, you can go wider on the portrait mode too. At the end of the day, this is the best smartphone camera you can buy, especially if you can skip the portrait mode. But I can see Google fixing this issue in a software update. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and if you want to watch me doing a YouTube video using only the iPhone 13 Pro, click here. And if you want to know why the 105mm is the best focal length for portraits, click here. And let me know in the comment section, do you think the Pixel 6 Pro has the best camera on a smartphone? And thank you for watching.